Hello, viewers. The global coronavirus outbreak has impacted not only the health, the lives and economies worldwide outrightly, but also has impacted widely the labor market and the education sector. Now, in this situation, which is a very compelling and a challenging situation, the role of TVET, which is Technical and Vocational Education and Training, the role becomes very, very important. And in fact, what we are covering in today's discussion is TVET for construction workers, particularly during COVID and post-COVID. And the expert is the CEO of a skill development organization based at Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Her name is Mamta Thakur. Mamta, we welcome you on this chat show of CIDC.
Thank you, Praveen.
My first question to you is TVET in the times of COVID-19. What are the challenges and opportunities which you see?
Praveen, TVET, today, let's take a look at what is TVET today, right? And what does it do for us? So TVET aims to provide lifelong learning, first of all, then it helps us develop healthy, attitude amongst students and participants, right? It enhances the chances of employability, right? And reduces the skill gap or the gap between demand and supply in the market. That's predominantly what it does, right? What are the few challenges? We have to look at the challenges that we currently face, and then we'll look at how it's going to look post-COVID. Challenges are, look at the capacity of our institutes today, right? There is a number that's available on the public platform, and I'm talking about from Indian context, right? There are about 2.5, 3 million places in the TVET institutes, right, today. And we have almost 13 million labor people joining the labor force every year. So do you see the gap? We don't have enough centers to even train the existing workforce. That's the first gap. Then we have other things like, student certification and the whole quality process, teachers who are teaching them, their development, so on and so forth. So there are many challenges that still exist in the system. Having said that, are we doing the right thing? Yes, we are doing the right thing. TVET centers are doing, and the whole system is working for a lot of us. But can it get better? It definitely gets better. There's a huge opportunity for us to do a lot of things, to keep it relevant. Post-COVID, what is going to change? So I want to highlight a few things, and I want you to actually visualize how it's going to look. So immediately after the market opens, what is going to happen? Construction companies will resume, their activities, which means the biggest challenge they will face is to cover up for this time lapse, that occurred due to the lockdown, right? They will have to immediately not only start the project, start completing them, right? What do they need? They don't just need the workforce. They need a workforce which can multitask, which is more efficient, right? Which I'll go back to what I said earlier, is still a gap. Some of our TVET centers, if you visit, you'll see the large chunk gets trained, gets certified, because they are not deployed immediately, they start to lose that skill. So, there are certified resources available, but they don't have that skill over a period of time. If this is the workforce which is going to be deployed, then we will have significant problems. We'll have to take a look at that. My next point is, how are we going to look at this skill gap? What are the few things that we see as an opportunity here? The opportunity is take an account of the entire segment, labor segment, and see who can be literate workers need to be separated because they can be digitally trained. Although TVET is not about distance learning and digital training, but there are some very, very efficient systems, in the world which can actually help us train them digitally. There are segments which are trade segments need to be made relevant, can be immediately tapped into, and can be trained from distance learning programs. There is a segment which can't be trained digitally. It could be literacy, that could be a challenge, and it could be, they're probably located in the area where they can't really access digital training, etc. When they're deployed, instead of taking them to the training room, we need to take the training to the sites. And I've done some of these things in the past where we took the training room, we hired a big wagon, converted that into training room, and we used to take the training room to the site, and we used to train these workers on the site, check on their quality. The training supervisor used to stay there and check on the quality, etc. as they train, and certify them right there, after the training. So some of those things need to be done in today's environment, and post-COVID environment.
Right, Mamta, talking of the challenges which you just discussed with us, and the kind of training, the practical-based training which you are referring to, that you moved out the training room to the sites, which means the on-site practical-based training, real hands-on training, that makes a difference. That really brings in a lot of changes.
Correct.
But talking on the challenges, which you discussed, what do you think is the role of industries or the industry plays in the success or failure of TVET?
Oh, massive. The role of the industry is massive. If they are not playing that role already, they should immediately. Right from taking a look at the courses built for them, we are producing, or TVET centers are producing resources for the industry. So they should get involved in the whole process. Take a look at NOS, National Occupation Standard, for that trade type, and see if it is relevant, for the kind of resources needed in the industry. If it is not, they should give the feedback, give the advices, involve in the whole development of NOS to begin with. They should also convert this into employability-led system. So consolidation of data, the whole industry can say that, I need, say, 300,000 so-and-so workers. And these are the specifications of it. And I give you, say, about 9 months, 1 year, whatever time period for you to deliver this, right? It should be employability-led so that these centers are also motivated to create the right resources because they know these resources will be immediately deployed. What is happening today is that people are mobilized from small little remote places, small cities, remote places, right? And they come to these centers, get certified with the hope to get employment, but that's not exactly how it happens. What happens is that they get the certificate, they go back and they hunt for employment. They go to the local contractors, especially in the construction industry, and they say that, oh, I got trained, I became a mason, and here is my certificate, please give me employment. That should not happen. Industry should drive employment. And that's the massive part which need to be fixed in our system. Maybe the experience has been bad, but this is an opportunity for us to fix. So industry need to engage at various levels with us, right from the beginning where they are telling us whether the training courses are in line with what is needed, to they're giving us the numbers to produce, 3, become a part of whole assessment and quality process, validate what we are producing for them. So this should be the role of industry, is what they're doing today, to some bit, yes, but not entirely like this. And that's the reason why TVET centers are not doing well worldwide, not just in India, worldwide. And construction company is going to face serious problem if we don't have industry engagement. There would be skill gaps, which will be difficult to bridge.
To what extent, Mamta, you think TVET is bridging the skills gap and driving the employability? To what extent?
Like I said, I agree with it. To an extent, it is bridging the skill gap. But can it do better? Yes. There's a huge opportunity for it to do better. Like I said, it has to be employment-led. Who has the whole database today? Number of people who enroll, number of people who clear. How do they clear? Their proficiency level in a trade type. We need to take a look at all of these data, all of these numbers, the whole database, and we'll have to see how to improve the whole system. We don't have to make 100% changes in it. We'll have to make small little changes, restructuring, and we'll start to work exactly the way we want it to work. It has to stay relevant. Probably the system worked 15 years ago, 10 years ago. It is not going to work now. It is already not working entirely, completely the way we want it to work. And in the times to come, it will be the biggest challenge. And therefore, I will agree that it did add value, but it is slowly becoming obsolete and irrelevant. So there is a fair bit of restructuring needed at this point.
I do agree that there have been challenges, there are challenges, and more so with the COVID situation, the pandemic hitting the entire globe. There are, difficult times and tough challenges which we all are facing. But in this time, what can be done to, make it an efficient education system for especially the blue-collar construction workers?
Praveen, to begin with, we have to move away with the thought that it has to be restructured and there has to be a new design that has to be created. No, we'll have to work with the current system. A lot has gone into creating what exists today, right? So we don't have to change the whole thing. We'll have to take a look at the processes, do away with redundant ones, live with, go with the productive ones, the efficient ones, and create the ones which is needed to run the whole system. So, for example, revise the norms, and especially in the construction industry, we've done. Third thing is govern the assessment process. Right now, there is a huge gap in the way we assess these skills and certify them. There was this one time I had to look at some of these skills to be deployed somewhere outside of India, and we realized that they knew nothing. They were certified skills. I'm not saying that TVET centers didn't do the right thing. I'm just saying that they didn't know anything. So either they were unemployed for too long and the knowledge depleted, or they didn't really pick the right skills. So we have to look at the assessment critically. Monitor the quality very critically, make skill certification a robust process, so on and so forth. So these are the areas we have to look at immediately after COVID to make it robust, to make it efficient.
Pointed out by you that, in this situation and otherwise also, the people who are the real educators, the people who are into the training work, even they have to continuously upgrade their knowledge. They have to be, familiar with the latest technology. And talking of the technology, any concluding remarks, Mamta, from your side? What is the situation going to be in the post-COVID situation? Do you foresee a lot of technological aspects coming into the picture? Especially, when we have seen recently the interface with the artificial intelligence system. The drones are being, operated to monitor the sites, and all those things are coming in. So it's altogether technology. And what do you think will be the role of TVET in educating more and more people about these new systems coming in?
Big role, with limitations by the way, but big role. Technology can play a very, very big role in it. And like I said, when we started that, we'll have to look at our workforce and separate the segment which can be brought on board, right, on digital platform and can be immediately trained. And I'm talking about workers' employability and workers' skill enhancement, right, can be immediately brought up to the mark and deployed. That's quick. Wherever they are, we don't have to really think about the whole process of mobilizing them from there to here, and it's very time consuming. So it will save us a lot of time, it will save us a lot of money, and it is so huge role. There's a lot we can do with the technology in this space, and that is much needed change. And I'm hoping to see that change happen post-COVID, where people are talking about the use of technology, and more investment in database. Let's see if that happens.
So thank you, Mamta, for sharing all those important aspects and insights related to the topic of discussion which we covered today with you. Thank you very much, Mamta.
Thank you very much, Praveen. It was a pleasure talking to you.
So keep on watching, keep on liking, keep promoting such good thoughts so that it travels across and a lot of viewers actually view it. And also keep sharing your feedback. It's your feedback only which is encouraging us to bring in these kind of interesting topics for discussion. And the experts are definitely more than willing to share their thoughts on the topics which you provide to us through the feedback. So keep writing and keep on giving the feedback to us. Thank you, viewers.